What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Dropper channel, coming to you with a hump day edition of NBA Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for you. That way you become apprised whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. Now, you're not going to like this. Not everybody's going to like this today, but it is what it is. We have so many unknowns, so many things on the back-to-backs, and I have a very condensed betting card. And by that, I mean one play, and it's the very first game, and then we are going to talk a lot of leans. So if you don't like process, you know what? Hit the like button, get on out. That is just fine by me. But also, there are some really advantageous bets. Do have a lean like that exists at the very, very tail end. So I'm going to be bookmarking all of my plays and talking through some process with more numbers, more stats than normal, simply to kind of show you where I'm going to be leaning tomorrow. That is for sure. But tons of plays that'll be showing up. Lindy 50, if you guys want to sign up down below and get all of them. Ended up going 2-0, sweeping the Cam Whitmore plays. Now we head up to the evening window. Tyler Hero is available to play. That's kind of weird here on the back-to-back, but is what it is. Anywho, I'm going to see how that plays out. So I'm going to get myself rocking here, get rolling as well. Plus, at Eric Lindquist, if you follow me there, you can get all of the stats that I'm looking at, all of the different nuances, the ins and outs of what I'm looking at in the betting market and the prop market the night before every single time around. So if you want to check that out, please do. Without further ado, though, producer Jacob, it's time. 8 games, lots of leans. Let's get to the picks. I said I had a play for you, and we have one right off the bat. OKC taking on Cleveland and friends. These are two of the best defensive teams in the entire association, and Alex Caruso is going to be out. Yet again, these are the kind of games where you really want to utilize an Alex Caruso, maybe ramp up his minutes, but he continues to be out, and it's like a truly day-to-day thing, but it's been more on the like weekly type plan. I don't know. Give us a freaking clarity or something here. Anyway, I look at this board, and I definitely think that Cleveland, it's a little bit of respect here, getting 2.5 against OKC. I know Chet Holmgren not back with OKC here yet, but that should just tell you how good of a regular season team they've been so far. Kenny Atkinson, I mean, my God, man. What an absolute offensive juggernaut. We've been on Mobley threes. I'm sure we'll talk about Mobley threes again in that prop thread, but it's not the play because I actually have bet this one right off the bat. Under 228.5. This is about 7 points too high. Now, normally I would lock that, but it is one of those primetime, like, can't miss kind of games here on the NBA schedule. And both are so defensively minded. The pace has still been there, but like, we're talking two of the top 3 teams in adjusted defensive rating. And we're getting 228.5 as the total. A little bit rich for my blood, that's for sure. I will say there are some injuries on both sides of the ball, which kind of gets it interesting. Isaac Okoro questionable, Sam Merrill questionable on the Cleveland side. So a thinner bench than they normally might have, but they still have all of their normal pieces in that starting 5 playing the majority of minutes. A little bit too high of a total, in my opinion. Not only just a little bit, a lot bit too, but keeping it in check here to start off. We continue on our merry-way into Chicago at Indy, and this begins the lean barrage. Now, Chicago and Indy, pretty much the inverse of what I just talked about defensively in that last game. Both of them a little bit more on the struggle bus side of things. 23rd in adjusted defensive rating are the Indiana Pacers. 24th are the Chicago Bulls. But the other thing that comes along with it, the pace. We're talking 7th in pace are the Indiana Pacers, and 3rd in pace are the Chicago Bulls at 104.6 possessions per 48. However, I've reran the data. 243 is about as good as I can get, and that is right on the cusp of bettable. I haven't bet it, though, so I could have made this a lean like, which probably would have been an advantageous move here for my day, considering don't have a ton on this card, but over 240.5. If this dips below 240, I think you can take that play, go on the over, as long as it's not by way of an injury. Pay attention to that, because Tyrese Halliburton, questionable. I'd really hate to be on the over here with Tyrese Halliburton out. Speaking of out, Joel Embiid going to be sitting his booty on the bench. He's been doing that a lot here lately. And Andre Drummond questionable, and that really matters because Paul George also going to be out for this one. And Yabusele, I think he's just going to be a starter for the Sixers team going forward. I mean, he should be. We saw him play awesome for France in the Olympics, and 76ers, despite him being better than Drummond at times, just slow to roll him out. However, you can slide him over to the 4, play him alongside Embiid, play him alongside Drummond. He's just been good. I really like Yabusele. What a great reinvention of yourself piece, coming off of going to Boston, not having it work out, and reinventing yourself underneath your country's colors. But I am definitely looking at Tyrese Maxey. You should know that by now. They're taking on Washington. Washington got obliterated by Houston playing their starters deep minutes, like 38 for Fred VanVleet, 42 for Amin Thompson. What are we doing here? You were up by 20. They just mowed them into the ground, but I don't know. Houston's not the one on the back-to-back. It's Washington, and they had Kyle Kuzma leave that game early with an injury. That's going to look extra problematic here for them. Double-digit favorites despite Joel Embiid and Paul George out. That is just hilarious. That tells you the state of these Washington Wizards. However, it's going to be Tyrese Maxey 30+, potentially 35+, because I bet it's going to fall somewhere in that range. I think it's a good parlay piece if you're really looking for something based on his previous 30+s, but I'm nervous Washington ends up nuking this up there. The prop isn't available yet as Washington's on the back-to-back. Looking for clarity, only a 217.5 total. Probably a stay away, sadly. And this one I got very close to betting. Very, very close. Toronto getting 12, taking on the Knicks in the Garden. And the Garden narrative, well, Karl-Anthony Towns didn't play last time out. He had just killed the opportunity for our over. Ended up dropping even a little bit before tip-off because, well, the Knicks couldn't generate offense against Orlando's second unit, basically. No Franz Wagner, no Jalen Suggs, no Paolo Banchero. Your three best players for Orlando not on the floor. It didn't matter. They got waxed. The Knicks got waxed by Orlando. Cole Anthony, a nice little resurgence, nice insurance policy off the bench for them. But the reason I'm almost going to bet this, the reason I thought about betting this one is because I have this at 10.5 with Karl-Anthony Towns in. This would obviously be something where it would drop inside of the 10.5 with Karl-Anthony Towns out. We saw Jericho Sims, that replacement player. I mean, my God, just no offense whatsoever. Found a couple of easy buckets at the rim, but like overall out there purely for defense. And Precious Achiuwa probably deserved more minutes than he got in that spot going up against Orlando. Weird with Isaac. He wasn't necessarily really weird rotations from Tibbs. And I say that being a guy that like generally will just play all of his dudes 40+ minutes, but you also have the chance where if you don't have Karl-Anthony Towns out there, maybe you get Miles McBride in there, and that would obviously help, the Knicks case. But I'm looking at Toronto as maybe a little bit undervalued, and this is really kind of the difficult part as far as like how I like to simulate games. Doing things by a player-by-player basis, more of like the dunks and threes method, where every player kind of comes together, and then you kind of look at the team as a whole. You combine that with Darko-type projections, and you also find, pace projections in the middle of it to kind of figure out your variance, smooth that down. And no matter what, I still would have Toronto being a bet here, and I'm not going to do it because it's frickin' Toronto. Toronto getting pieces back. Emmanuel Quickley, Grady Dick, RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes, Jakob Poeltl. Those are all 5 very serviceable NBA players getting double digits against the Knicks. Feel like I should bet this, but I'm not going to because the sum of the whole is not the sum of the pieces. The pieces are somehow bigger than it, and that's not the analogy. Whatever, Toronto plus 12, just a lean. Let's talk tails. You guys want to know what all my plays are day of? Well, you know what? Lindy 50. That can be your easy path to be able to do that. You go to the link below, sign up for the Discord. That comes along with the companion OddsShopper app, where if you sign up for the OddsShopper app, which is free, you can get yourself all of my plays directly sent to your phone in notification form. That is good times. We have smoothed it out. Everything looks beautiful on that end. Now, it's $10 for your first week, so just over $1 a day. $25 for your first month. That is just under $1 a day. I would love to see you guys there in that premium Discord. Sign up down at the link below. Let's talk process. Let's talk plays. Let's cash tickets. Pick them. Everything across the board. See you there. Back to the picks we go. 4 games to go. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Detroit. Oh, baby. Detroit favorites heading into Brooklyn, and Detroit playing some decent ball, but some bad breaks here along the way. Jaden Ivey going to be out for obviously a long, long time now. But the other guy dinged up here in this spot, Asar Thompson. He's an illness. Everybody's getting sick around the NBA. Look at Nikola Jokic, and obviously why we can't break down Denver the way that we want to. But I do think Cade Cunningham, Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr., Tobias Harris, Jalen Duren, those are 5 pretty serviceable basketball players. Cade Cunningham especially so. Malik Beasley can shoot above average there. Tobias Harris, I think he's still an above average NBA player. Duren, when he decides to, be Duren, it's great. But you look at Keon Johnson, Zaire Williams, Noah Clowney, Nicholas Claxton, and then, I don't know, some combination of Tyrese Martin who would start if Ben Simmons ends up out. He is questionable for this one. Tons of uncertainty here, so I just want to jump to this. Sometimes when there are bad shooting performances for players, to start off a new tenure in a new position, you get a buy low opportunity. And Malik Beasley, what falls into the starting unit? 29 minutes, 1 for 10 from the field, 1 for 9 from 3. It was about as bad as you could possibly run into. Portland goes in come from behind mode, runs that one to the bank. Shout out Cade Cunningham. Tobias Harris, sick half too. But Malik Beasley, he's a lot better than that. I think there is a very live 3-point ladder because I think we see secure 32, 34 minutes going forward as a starter in competitive spots. And while they're 6.5-point favorites, they're on the road. Lots of ways where Malik Beasley, new role for him here, starting alongside Cade Cunningham. And I think Cade Cunningham will see that assist rate go up, his usage flatten out a little bit because it's been out of control here in the post-Jaden Ivey era. Malik Beasley, 3-point ladder. I think it's going to open right in that 3.5 type range. Maybe we get a little plus money there on the over of that one and run it up to 6 is kind of where I'm envisioning this ending. Portland at New Orleans. We had some interesting stuff here with New Orleans taking on my Minnesota Timberwolves. It's been a back and forth affair, but we got 360 windmill dunks coming from frickin' Zion again. I'm not sure. Producer Jacob, did you see the Zion dunk? No, he's a liar. you were leaving.
Who cares? He never plays basketball. Who cares about him? Go play basketball for more than 2 weeks and I'll care about him. I don't care about Zion Williamson.
I hope they got to hear that. Anyway, until further notice, Toumani Camara rebound ladder because that seems like a fun time. I like the game of basketball. Kawhi's back. That's why I can do that. But anyway, Denny Avdia questionable. Gigantic piece there. If he ends up out, stats padded across the board, specifically to Toumani Camara. What a wonderful phrase. Yeah, this is dumb. Jokic ends up sitting the front end of the back-to-back. Now they're on the back-to-back. Boston, he goes to war against Zubats every single time. Clippers not on a back-to-back. Denver is. Oh, this is going to be problematic for them. Obviously, we're going to lead Clippers money line and just get out of here. But the thing I'm going to break down in the thread, splits based off of how the game runs out here tonight. So I'm going to be staying up late, put in the old midnight oil work. So if you guys want to check that out, we'll talk splits. Nikola Jokic potentially out against the Clippers. That is something to pay attention to. He is really sick. He left the arena, didn't even stick around. So he's going to go rest up, try to play on the second half of this back-to-back. And I said, we got bookmarked plays here because, well, something really jumped out to me after the fact, the morning of, as I reworked some of my projection stuff for Milwaukee from, a day ago, Monday. So Monday, end up going on Kyle Kerm's show. If you guys don't follow Kyle Kerms, you absolutely should here on the YouTube streets. Really, really good friend of mine here in a short amount of time. Really enjoy going on his shows, shooting the shit, talking sports, talking bets, and talking process. I think it's been a really good time. I think you'll enjoy his channel if you enjoy ours. So San Antonio, though, they're getting 5.5. I thought about that one pretty darn heavily, but the more I bear out everything here, sometimes when you bet on the other side of the game, or you're hoping something, I guess it's kind of me betting on it staying intact. Maybe there's a little bit more correlation there than I'm giving credit for, but Giannis Antetokounmpo, his assist rate without Chris Middleton on the floor is higher. It is higher than that of Damian Lillard. And I saw Damian Lillard props listed higher than Giannis, which got me thinking, got me reworking things. You're never worried about the points when you're betting a triple-double for Giannis, but we got plus 800, plus 600, a prevailing number that I saw from a lot of tickets. I think all of those were great. Had this inside of plus 400, and I do yet again here. However, we are expecting different circumstances. Chris Middleton off the injury report. Andre Jackson going to be there. And Giannis back intact. But if we get something similar to what we got in terms of last time out, obviously Chris Middleton was not available for that game, which was the huge impetus for the bet. But Giannis' assist rates have still been a little bit higher than I expected for some of these Chris Middleton minutes. And if they're going to stagger a little bit here, we're going to see Giannis in a game with a 2. Again, I do not agree with this total. I think it's a little bit lower. 226.5 total. I think we're definitely going to be seeing Giannis push to win some of these games as they get closer to the All-Star break. Because Milwaukee back-to-back losses, we just saw them put the spanking down on Toronto. They're going to go after Victor Wembanyama here too, but one of the things that's really hard in the data, because it's more of a no ball take, is at the rim. we've never really seen anybody as good as Giannis, and we've never seen anybody as good as defending it as Victor Wembanyama, who's just naturally 7'4" with arms that are like Inspector Gadget. So there's got to be some dump-offs, got to be some assists. So I'm going to rerun some stuff here in the morning based on the fact that I just want to get confirmation Chris Middleton for sure doesn't show up on the injury report around that 1:30 p.m. Eastern time, 10:31. But anyway, NBA.com, that's where you can find all that good stuff. I'm going to call it San Antonio plus 5.5. I'm going to call it Giannis lean like on the triple-double. Not just because it was really, really fun the first time around, but I think we might get around the same numbers or maybe higher in a game that this seems like too low of a total, in my opinion. You get all the normal guys off of it. Giannis, extra minutes here as they really push. They got to start winning some basketball games. It's getting to be that time. It's getting to be that time. What's the record again? What's the record? I got to double check these things. I should know these things. 18-16. It's not good enough. Continuing on. Let's get out of here. And that does it for a quick and easy edition of NBA Lindy's here on Wednesday. You know what to do. Go to that comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays here. I'm sorry that we didn't have as many likes or locks as we would normally have on a certain day here, but I promise you, I will give you updates over at Eric Lindquist. I'm going to post out a thread here tonight in a couple of hours. Going to have that available to everybody here. Plus, I don't want to give you bad bets. I hope you appreciate that we're talking process and that I'm not here to just give you trash because I don't want to give you trash. I want to give you good plays. And there's just not a lot available here night before right now. But we're going to fix that here in the morning. We're going to be posting, and I'll always be posting in tails. So that does it for today. Thank you, producer Jacob. Until next time, friends, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the NBA streets on Wednesday. First time.